Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want. Thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the FP Journe Centigraphe Line Sport Aluminum. You can see this unique 42mm aluminum FP Journe Centigraphe on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card at the upper right-hand corner of this video at any time to see our full listing for this watch with extra high-res images, accessories included, and of course, complete pricing information. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that this watch is different from the garden variety Centigraphe, if we can use that term, in several significant ways. First of all, the Line Sport, unlike the original Centigraphe, is not 40mm but 42. That's right, 42mm. It was one of the first FP Journe case sizes to push beyond the initial barrier of 40. When that was considered to be the upper limit of the mainstream Journe watches, the Centigraphe Sport of 2011 to 2014, that's the model we have right here in aluminum, actually pushed into the 42mm realm. But truth be told, it wears a little larger than that, because not only is it a different case size, but it's a different case shape, featuring a very Gerald Genta-like integration of lugs and bracelet. Now the watch is slim in profile. You can see 11.5mm thick. If you did want to wear this one with any kind of a tight sleeve or cuff, you'd have no trouble with that domed bezel getting it underneath a tight sleeve. But from lug to lug, it does have a very robust measurement because the aluminum bracelet has a little bit of a tendency to flare. The links that abut the case extend the virtual span of this watch to 52mm effectively. You can't measure from lug to lug, but you can measure from link to link, and that's the measurement you get. So although this watch only weighs 55 grams, less than 2 ounces, it does have impressive wrist stance and impressive wrist presence. This is as close to an oversized sports watch as FP Journe will ever get, but I really need to restate that. 55 grams. There are Swatch watches on silicone straps that weigh less than this complication. And it is wonderfully, wonderfully comfortable because that broad case form creates a sort of cushion profile such that even as minimal as the mass of this watch is, it spreads it impressively so it feels even lighter than it is, almost impossibly light. Now the 3-link bracelet features a combination of satin finished aluminum and rubber inserts, and they create nice highlights of light and dark. It's an elegant look. It's a very comfortable bracelet. You can see the underside has ample channels in between links such that it'll never pull hair or pinch skin. And because there is so much room for ventilation if you are wearing this one in hot weather, it allows the skin to breathe quite easily. Now it features a high-grade double deployant clasp. You can see, like the rest of the bracelet and the case, it is made out of aluminum, beautifully finished within, very secure when buckled down, and of course with an FP Journe rubberized and branded clasp. Now, the watch itself features rubberized elements about the case and rubberized titanium-covered rocker switch for the chronograph and a crown for winding and setting. What you're looking at within the dial is more or less the classical face of the Centigraphe, but this one's notable in that all of the Arabic numerals as well as the hands at center are loomed, so you can see this one in low or no light like a true sports watch. Now the elements of the dial applied are aluminum. Again, like the movement, like the bracelet, like the case. You can also see that a sapphire has been placed over the center of each of the sub-registers such that you can actually see the drivetrain of the chronograph running beneath it. Now it has a sporty tritone of steel with white elements, gray and red highlights. A little bit of a 21st century Paul Newman, if you will. Now the case back proves that FP Journe may be a traditionalist, but he's not afraid to go avant-garde because this is the FP Journe in-house caliber 1506 manual wind Centigraphe chronograph caliber, albeit rendered entirely in aluminum. The entire thing weighs only 12 grams. Compare that to almost 40 grams for a conventional value 7750. Now you can see the architecture of the movement is unique. It beats away at 3 Hz or 21,600 vibrations per hour, but At the core of the Centigraphe concept is a split drivetrain. You have one drivetrain which drives off the barrel, uniquely placed at the very center of the movement. You can see it peeking out from under its bridge. That one drivetrain drives the chronograph. The other drivetrain, which branches off separately, is the conventional going train, and you can follow the jewels of its wheels straight to the balance under my thumb. Now, it is a free-sprung balance, sport style, with significant resistance to shock-induced variation, but the key to having those two drivetrains isn't so much to resist shock as to maintain outstanding precision even when the complication is running. Now, there are two schools of thought here. You can do what Jaeger-LeCoultre did with the Duomet and have two separate drivetrains with two separate mainspring barrels. That'll ensure equal power reserve for complication and civil time, but it'll also, in the course of maintaining power reserve and balance amplitude, dramatically swell the size of the watch. You wind up with a massive case. Journe instead runs the two drivetrains off the barrel such that amplitude is not decreased when the Centigraphe's chronograph is running, but it does cut the power reserve from its conventional 80 hours to 24. Now you can see that the rocker at 2 o'clock, a patented system, stops and resets the chronograph, and it is of course called a Centigraphe because this dial right here under my thumb can measure increments as small as 1/100th of a second. You can see this unique and discontinued FP Journe Centigraphe Line Sport in aluminum on our website, watchyouwant.com.